Hello and welcome to the City of Maple Grove Report. I'm Dave Kaiser from CCX Media. Thanks for joining us once again, along with Heidi Nelson, Maple Grove City Administrator. Welcome once again, Heidi.
Thank you.
She has the book full of notes from a council meeting that was about 24 minutes on November 7th, but we've got a lot to talk about related to the election, and believe it or not, some end of fall things and maybe even some winter things to touch on. Let's go to the meeting from the 7th, again about 24 minutes in length. One item pulled from consent related to a new business in town.
Yeah, so this was a charitable gambling license for a premise permit for pull tabs for Optimal Performance Golf. You might recall this business. It's up off of 93rd there, kind of up by Osseo schools. This is a golf simulator type business. They had been in to get a liquor license, and now they're going to be adding this pull tab operation to that business. And so just a couple questions there from Councilmember Leith, and then that one was approved.
Let's move ahead to other parts of the meeting that had some special guests. The first is a police officer oath of office for Shane Duncan. Give us a little background on Shane.
Yeah, so Shane Duncan joined us earlier this year in June and has been on field training since that time and is now out on solo patrol. He does come to us with some experience. He was a police officer with the city of Princeton for about 8 years before coming here. He has an associate's degree from Alexandria Tech and Community College, and then also served in the United States Army as a paratrooper for 6 years in the late 90s. So we're really grateful for Shane joining the police department here, and it was great to have his parents came in all the way from Montana to celebrate that, and we're able to pin his badge on here in Maple Grove. So grateful that he's joined the team.
Yeah, lots of pictures taken there. Also lots of pictures taken for this next event and next part of the agenda, a civilian commendation, which has quite a heroic story behind it.
Yeah, so this was a fire that occurred in August. It was a deck fire, and kind of in a duplex type of situation where, you know, these housing units are right next to each other. So these two neighbors, you know, got their hoses and were kind of trying to hose down the fire and keep it away from the other unit type of thing, and did so until the fire department was able to get there and respond to that fire. And so, you know, really probably saved that other housing unit from having any damage. And so good to have them in for this civilian commendation. Brandon Weber and Guy Nathan for that August 5th, 2022 deck fire.
Congratulations and thank you for your service. Community and economic development items, a few things to touch on. One is a celebration that is coming up very quickly here for a local Chamber of Commerce. Yeah,
our I-94 West Chamber of Commerce has their annual celebration actually this evening out at Rush Creek. So I know a number of folks from the community and businesses will be out there for that celebration.
And Main Street, they are all spiffed up and now they're thinking ahead to December. What's the special event?
Yeah, so the hometown holiday event, December 3rd, that's a Saturday. It'll be later in the evening. We'll have the lighting of the Christmas tree. The Arbor Lakes Business Association is working on putting that event together along with Experience Maple Grove, so more information to follow about that, but late afternoon of December 3rd.
All right, let's look ahead to the next Planning Commission meeting. That will be on November 14th. Tell us about the couple items that they're looking ahead to.
Yeah, so we have a residential subdivision out on the west side, just kind of east of County Road 101, north of 101st Avenue there. This is called Bella Woods. It's about 127 units, mix of single family and townhome there. So some road realignments that are envisioned out there to connect up with Stieg Road on the west side into Corcoran. So some road impacts with this one, but this will go to Planning Commission on November 14th. We'll get some feedback there. And then we also have a medical dental building on the site of the Maple Grove Covenant Church. So this is just right off of kind of north of County Road 30 along Upland Lane there. They have some extra real estate kind of on the northwest corner of that site, and so they're looking to kind of parcel off a piece there and sell it for a medical office dental building.
In a great area with lots of medical and dental right in that same spot.
That's it.
Now let's move to engineering and public works, and as we mentioned, it is the change of the season, and Ken talks a little bit about projects finishing up and looking ahead to winter.
Yes,
I guess so.
we are. So, you know, 'tis the season to get all of these summer construction projects wrapped up. You know, the asphalt plants start to shut down kind of the week of Thanksgiving for bigger projects, and so try to get everything wrapped up and buttoned up before the winter months here, and then, you know, we'll be prepared for that snow and salt season coming in here for snow plowing after those construction projects are wrapped up.
All right, it's coming sometime soon here, and we're going to talk a little bit about fall cleanup in just a second here. Your items from the meeting on the 7th, just a couple things to touch on, and they surround the election. One being the election canvassing, so that is the next step of the process. When does that happen?
Yeah, we'll canvass the election on the morning of November 18th at 8 a.m. in the chambers.
And then you pass along some thank yous ahead of Election Day, because there's a lot of people that spend a lot of time making that happen.
Yeah, not only our election staff, City Clerk Amy Dietl and her team, but also all the election judges, so many folks from the community that help out and serve in that election judge capacity. Not only for the last 46 days, I think we voted 1,000 people at the Government Center on Monday prior to the election. We were there till 5 o'clock that day. And then, running the election on Election Day. This is the first year that we made that reduction in precincts from 24 to 15, and primarily due to the fact that so many people are voting absentee that, we were able to accommodate those voters on Election Day in person at a smaller number of precincts. So I think everything went real well, but we're so appreciative of those folks that are willing to help out as election judges, and then, of course, to our City Clerk Amy Dietl and her team. They really do put on a nice election. Yeah,
they had a full day. We'll talk about some of the results in just a second. One final note from the meeting on the 7th, the day before the election, there was some discussion about the Ceta building, the thought about that in the city of Brooklyn Park next to North Hennepin. What is the latest there?
Yeah, so we had Councilmember Barnett as well as Amy Peterson in our Parks and Recreation Department. We're serving on kind of that task force for that group, so involved in sort of the planning for that and at the table there for those discussions. And North Hennepin Community College recently announced that they're abandoning that project and going to be selling the land, or the land has already been sold. I think their declining enrollment there has caused them to kind of take a step back and relook at things there. So kind of disappointing to see that project go away. But yeah, I think just some changes over at North Hennepin are bringing that along.
All right, that was the last note then from the meeting on the 7th. Next meeting will be on the 21st. We'll give you some details about that in just a second. But now let's take a look around town. And again, the big news from yesterday, as we're taping this on the Wednesday, was Election Day. Give us a little recap of some of the turnout and results from Maple Grove.
Yeah, so we had the seat for mayor was up for election, and then 2 council seats up for election. And then we also had a ballot question with regard to a local option sales tax for the community center project. So mayor was running unopposed, so Mayor Mark Stephenson was reelected to another 4-year term. These terms will go through December 31 of 2026, and then Christy Janigo and Rochelle Johnson were elected to the city council, and those terms again will go through the end of 2026. Just want to take a moment to thank Councilmember Phil Leith for his service. He didn't seek re-election this term. We're going to be celebrating his service later in December, and then also Councilmember Karen Jager, very long-serving, who was not reelected last evening. But we're excited to welcome these 2 new council members to the dais, and we're going to be getting going here pretty soon on new council member orientation and getting them up to speed.
Let's move to the local option sales tax again. We talked a lot about that leading up to the election and informing residents of what that was. And now the turnout was positive. Tell us what that means as far as next steps. I'm sure everyone's knocking on Chuck's door saying, all right, what do we do?
Right, yeah, so about a 55% support for that ballot question last night. So what that authorized is a half-cent sales tax to raise up to $90 million to support the reinvestment in the community center, that renovation and expansion project. So a few steps that take place now is we're required to pass an ordinance that imposes the tax, and then Department of Revenue requires a 90-day notice before that tax would start to be imposed in the community. So we're going to be likely bringing forward that ordinance at the next city council meeting. We've talked throughout this process of kind of what the timeline would be. So knowing that, this was the year that we were going through kind of that space planning, trying to define what the funding would be, have this ballot question coming, talking now about 2023 being a year that we spend time on design, and then looking towards 2024 for construction of that project. A few more things still to sort out here.
Sure.
As you might recall, we were in the governor's bonding bill last year for some bonding dollars for this project. We'll be pursuing that again. We've already had discussions again with the governor's office and the Office of Management and Budget, which kind of manages those capital spending requests. And so we'll be pursuing that here early in the session. So those things needing to be decided, and then kind of determining, how we want to move forward on that design piece. But few steps here in the process to start to move forward, and I anticipate, we'll likely get through this ordinance passing, and then once the new council's seated in January, start to work forward on some of those design elements and how we want to see that move forward.
And as we mentioned all along through the process before the election, there's a great website that will keep you up to date now as we move into the next phase, and that's growingtogethermaplegrove.org. You can go to find out more information. And beyond that, beyond the city level, from a state level, how did things turn out in the city of Maple Grove?
No changes for us. So Representative Bonner, Representative Robbins, and Senator Limmer were all reelected here. They had some changes to their districts, shifting around a little bit, coming south and going west a bit. But yeah, everybody staying put, and so we'll have some majority changes down in St. Paul with the Senate, looks like, so that'll change the dynamics a little bit. But yeah, we've got a big legislative agenda planned for 2023, a number of things that we're working on, and so we'll just continue on working with those, our legislators, and the good relationships we have there.
All right, we'll talk about more of those items as we head throughout the end of the year and into early next year. Special event coming up this Friday, which is Veterans Day as we're recording this. Who's behind that event and where does it take place?
Yeah, so this is done by the Osseo Maple Grove American Legion and the Beyond the Yellow Ribbon program here in Maple Grove. It is going to be Friday morning, November 11th at 9 a.m. Looks like the weather could be a little bit of a challenge that morning, so it's kind of a game time call there, but we also have the Park Pavilion there reserved, and so if the weather doesn't seem good for an outdoor event, they'll shift it into that pavilion there. And also note that the city offices are closed on Friday in honor of the Veterans Day holiday as well.
All right, hope you can stop by. We mentioned Main Street a little earlier, but let's mention it again. It is all finished up and looking great, and one of the neat parts is I understand it's lit up, and now with getting dark so early, you can go right after work and see the lights. So
you can.
How are people loving it and talking about it?
Yeah, we're almost wrapped up. There's a few finishing touches that'll need to either get wrapped up this fall or right away in the spring. But yeah, I think it's looking really sharp. A lot of really good feedback on sort of there's this embedded part of the pavement that has the leaf design in the intersections and sort of those embedded pavement type crosswalks that are a different color than the pavement. I think it looks real sharp, and the lighting is in place. So yes, it's real pretty at night. And now Kimco, or the property owners there along Main Street, have also added some holiday lights. So real pretty atmosphere during the evenings now.
All right, stop by and take a look, and thank those businesses for putting up with all the construction as well. All right, let's talk a few seasonal things here. The first is street sweeping and yard waste. Last couple chances to get the leaves away.
Yeah, so street sweeping, the crews are out kind of doing that final cleanup to try to get any of those leaves left at the gutters and sides of the streets. And then just a reminder, the Maple Grove Yard Waste site is open until November 30th to provide a source for disposal of leaves, brush, those types of things. Drop-off is free when you show proof of Maple Grove residency, and any information about all the specifics about what they accept can be found on their website.
Great, and that is through the end of the month. And here's something else through the end of the month, a great way to help out those in need. There's a coat drive going on.
Yeah, so our police department is doing a coat drive in collaboration with the Salvation Army. So any new or gently used coats can be dropped off at the main entrance of the public safety facility. There's a box there for you.
All right, special week coming up the 14th through the 18th of November. And again, it's hard to talk about, but winter is coming and you want to have people prepared. What are some of the tidbits out there that will help people get ready?
Yeah, so November 14th through the 18th is officially Winter Hazard Awareness Week, and that's put on by the Department of Homeland Security and Emergency Management, which is a division of the Minnesota Department of Public Safety. So you'll likely see, some PSAs on TV and that type of a thing promoting these issues. So just to bring everybody, refresh our memories that winter's coming, talking about winter storms, outdoor and indoor safety, fire safety, driving in the winter, all those types of things. And you certainly can find more information, resources on the Homeland Security and Emergency Management website for the state.
All right, you may start thinking about holiday shopping here, and we've got a place to shop. It's the farmers market, not outside, now inside.
Yeah, so we're back inside at the community center. Thursday, November 10th, the hours are from 3 to 6 p.m. And then we'll have another indoor market on Tuesday, November 22nd, just in front of the Thanksgiving holiday as well.
All right, a few more things here to shop for and to get out and enjoy would be the craft boutique that's coming up on the 12th. Where is this and what is available there?
Yeah, so this is at the Maple Grove Community Center, Saturday, November 12th from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. There's about 65 vendors at the Holiday Craft Boutique, and this one's hosted by the Maple Grove Seniors Craft Committee and the Maple Grove Lions Club, and I know this one is very popular.
Yes.
So if you're coming, be prepared for finding that parking spot, and I think it just brings a lot of energy to town. Our restaurants are busy that day. A lot of folks out enjoying all Maple Grove has to offer.
So that is on Saturday the 12th, and the next Saturday, it's time to think about your home. What's this special event?
Yeah, so hosted at the Community Center on Saturday, November 19th from 10 to 4. This is a free event, and really anything about a home improvement project that you might be thinking about. So 120 home improvement professionals who can help with a wide variety of those projects. So again, Saturday, November 19th from 10 to 4.
So as the weather turns a little bit colder, people that have been enjoying the warm fall and walking outside now looking for a place that's a little warmer to walk inside, and you've got it.
Yeah, the dome is up and operating, and it's available for free walking. The walking track hours are Monday through Friday in the morning from 7:30 to 9:30. Tuesday through Friday from 6 to 9 p.m. in the evening, and then we also have Saturdays from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. And so it's a great, out kind of the outer rim of the dome there. You can walk anytime. It's about 55 degrees in the dome, so kind of good walking environment. And again, it's free to the public. Great walking space during the winter months.
Yeah, great opportunity. So that's one use of the dome. Here's another use of the dome with a fun event that involves Nerf guns?
Yeah, so this is right, the pop-up rec event, and this is also up at the Dome on Wednesday, November 30th from 5 to 7 p.m. It's a company that we bring in called Nerf Blasters, and there's all kinds of Nerf guns and fun things to shoot at each other up there. So the event is free and great outing for families. So again, Wednesday, November 30th from 5 to 7.
All right, let's look ahead to one place that's very hot to be at during the winter time. Hot because it's so busy. That is Central Park.
Yeah.
What are the plans there? Are they already thinking winter as well?
They are. So we're getting ready, to start making that ice over there. The weather today isn't real cooperative. It's quite warm out this afternoon, but I think it's going to turn over the weekend here, and so we'll look for that weather pattern to kind of stabilize and then start working on that. Our goal is always to have that skating loop open on the Friday after Thanksgiving, and if the weather cooperates, we should be able to do that. So we encourage you just to follow the Maple Grove Parks and Recreation Facebook page. We provide updates there about, if the ice is going to be ready and when we're going to be having that facility open.
All right, a lot of people waiting. And speaking of Thanksgiving holiday, a couple notes to pass along about city services and city buildings during that holiday.
Yeah, so our city offices will be closed on Thursday and Friday, November 24th and 25th in observation of the Thanksgiving holiday.
And with the transit, they've got some changes as well because of that holiday.
Yeah, some changes to our transit schedule. So service as normal on Wednesday, November 23rd. No Maple Grove Transit service on Thanksgiving Day, November 24th. And then on Friday, November 25th, there's a special one-day reduced route. 781 will operate that day. So lots of information about that on maplegrovetransit.org. And just as a reminder to folks, as some folks might be going back downtown to work, always know that Maple Grove Transit is here for you. Lots of information on the website about the routes that we're currently running, and know that service, our commuter service, as well as the MyRide service, is available to those folks that are in need of local transit in the community as well.
Very good. maplegrovetransit.org. You can find out a lot more about that, and you can find out a lot more about what we talked about and other things in the city at the city's website. Let's take you there and also talk about the next meeting that is coming up. That will be on Monday, November 21st, 7:30 at the Government Center. Down at the bottom of the screen, you see the website, maplegrovemn.gov. Again, a lot of information about the election that just occurred, some of the things that are happening here at the end of fall and heading into winter. For Heidi Nelson, I'm Dave Kaiser. Thanks once again for joining us on the City of Maple Grove Report.